Hey guys, I'm super excited. I finally got my number one requested guest of all time. Everybody wanted to have him on here. The man, the machine, Bert Kreischer. Man, dude. Hey, are you gonna do the podcast or not? Like, literally, I told this guy a joke. He's got his mic muted right now, but I told him a joke like 10 minutes ago now, and this guy still hasn't stopped laughing. Like he's still laughing, dude. What is wrong with you? I don't know. You told him a joke, and then now I'm laughing. I've been laughing for so long. I just don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't think I can do this podcast. I'm just laughing so much. Okay, well, that was Bert Kreischer, everybody. Maybe we'll get him on sometime in the future. Apparently he's laughing too much. Welcome everybody back to Not Rich Just Bored, episode number 66. We got another double digits, 66. We do another however many 600 episodes, I guess. And we'll be at the cool episode, 666. Yeah, boy. And you know, everybody knows, and a couple of people that are regular listeners know, we're approaching that special episode. You know what I mean? You know, like 3 episodes away. Anyways, I'm excited for that episode. I don't know why, but I just am. Maybe I'll have like a gangbang on that episode. You know, 69. We'll see. But, anyways, man, it's just another hectic week, and this is another week where I'm recording on Thursday. Normally, like you guys know, I record Wednesday, upload Thursday, but no, not this week. I had to drive 12 hours yesterday, just 12 hours on the fucking road, and it's like holy hell. Luckily, I have like lots of podcasts and lots of stuff like that to keep me occupied. Otherwise, I'd go nuts. Some of those guys, like those truck drivers and stuff, I don't know how they function some days. Like I'm a guy that doesn't mind driving because I don't, obviously, because I drive a lot for my job. But it's like truck drivers though, like they're on like 12 hour trucking day. That's like a normal day for them. They just pull over into a rest stop, get their dick sucked by some porky pig or something, and they move about their day. But that Porky Pig thing was a callback to I had a joke planned for the intro, but I thought it was a little too offensive. Some people might get a little scared, but it was a joke about me meeting a girl on Tinder and then saying she was an 8 out of 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, she was an 8, and then the joke was 8 tons. Yeah, it's a fat joke, but And then, but then I was gonna do the comedian thing where you make it self-deprecating so that the people don't feel as bad. I was gonna be like, I make fun of all ladies because none of them want to sleep with me. Hey-o! But yeah, other than that, I've just been working and jerking, and it's been a really uneventful week, except for the Diablo beta, the Diablo 4 beta, which we will get into shortly, but I gotta say, it's so funny to see. I've been seeing these guys pop up lately on social media of these like people, and I've talked about it before on here. I think people that like live in their cars and do that kind of thing, and there's now people that are living in like I don't know. This person made like a truck, like a what would you call it? It would be it's like a semi like those Dodge Ram 5500s type deal, but it's just a flatbed at the back instead of a trailer or a box. It's just a chassis essentially, and then they put like a house on it, but it's not like a house. It's like it's a makeshift house. Essentially, it's a fucking RV. It's a glorified RV, is what it is. It's an RV or a trailer, but and then people are living in it, and they're showing like how this is how I live in my trailer all year round, and like it's a chick and she's got like a $300 hair job. Like believe me, I used to date a hairdresser. I used to be with the hairdresser. I know how much hair costs, and this lady has long, luxurious, beautiful fucking hair, and it's like I know that balayage you got, girl. I know that costs money. That costs lots of cheddar. Cheddar. Some of that cheddar feeds my kids. All right? So I know how much that shit costs. And it's like, but like her hair is perfect. And yes, I know people can live in a trailer and have hair and get their hair done and go shower somewhere else. But I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about some of these people. Her story was more believable because she actually lived in it was like an RV essentially. So you could be pretty fucking bougie in an RV. But those people that are like, I live out of my Kia Sorento. This is how I shower. It's like a monkey pee shower that they got off Amazon. It's like I collect rainwater in my spoiler. When I need to what happens when there's no rain? I start siphoning out of the fuel tank. Gets me good and high. Kills that appetite dead. But I don't know. There's these people, and it's like it'll be a girl, and she's a fucking on a scale of 1 to 10, not weight. We're not talking about weight anymore. That's not who I am anymore. I'm not disrespectful. I'm like Shia LaBeouf. I'm rehabbed, all right. I'm good now. But yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, she's like an 11. Like she's fucking gorgeous, and she's like, yeah, I live in this fucking Ford Focus, and it's like, no, you fucking don't. You liar. You're a liar. Like, there's no way somebody looks that beautiful and lives in their car, first of all, let alone a Ford Focus. I'm like, you would have, if not some sort of a influencer thing, which she does through the car, obviously. But if she didn't have that, she would have a sugar daddy. She'd have somebody would take care of her. All right? Let's be honest. Somebody would take care of her. If you're ugly living in a car, yeah, okay. Like if somebody saw me living in a car, they'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But if I was like Brad Pitt living in a car, people care. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time believing a lot of this stuff that I see, a lot of these people online, and there's also this big trend right now about people. I think I've talked on this too about the passive income and stuff. But the recent thing that I've noticed is this uptick in housing, an uptick in people talking about this is how I make 200K a year off my 17 rental properties. It's like, whoa, hold on a minute, 200K? How the fuck does that work? Just like you do simple math and it doesn't add up. Like if you had like to round it up, you make say you have 20 houses, you rent them out for $2,000 a month. You know, that's that's 40. That's what, 40 grand. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry, I got a burp. Oh, I got the hiccups today. God damn it. This is gonna be just a burping podcast. But yeah, so I'm gonna get my calculator out here because I failed math in high school, and just to double check everything. But yeah, so let's say you have 20 houses, and you're charging, let's say, a modest 2,000 for rent. So yeah, 40K. You're bringing 40K a month from that. Like obviously you don't do 2K. So these people are like saying they got 40 grand times 12. So that's $500,000 a year, right? But they also have to pay their mortgages, and they have to pay everything else and pay insurance and pay lot fees, taxes and all that. Like it's so stupid when you watch some of these things. The 17 houses 200K thing, people were talking about something else. That guy had I think he had like 12. he had a duplex or something and 12 rentals, but like there's all these people that are talking about how they make like they like make millions of dollars a year just off these rental properties that they own, and it just makes no sense to me because like when you look at the gross of it, like your gross income before taxes, yeah, maybe they do make that much, but it's like you got to keep into account that like you don't just get this shit for free. You have to have tenants. You have to have like tenant insurance. Well, it's a good idea to have that anyway. You have to have like obviously you're not looking after all the shit yourself, so you have to have a what do you call them, the guys that look after your rentals, a management company. Yeah, that's it. So you gotta have like a rental management company. You gotta have all that shit, and you gotta pay your like I most people can't just pay cash for all these. I'm sure all these houses and whatnot people have are not paid for in cash or paid off already. So I'm sure they have to still pay their mortgage on it and their taxes and all that bullshit. So either way, I don't. You guys know I've talked about it on here 1,000 times already. I don't like housing as I don't like housing as income like that. I fucking hate it. And people, it's funny because there's so many tribes online. There's the people that are like, oh, it's actually not passive income, it's a depreciating asset. No, you're wrong. Housing is always, technically speaking, an appreciating asset. This is true. It is true. But the problem I have with it, because those people are wrong. That's it. I'm just going to say that. Because people that say it's not a good investment to have housing, they are wrong. Now, is it affordable? That's a different thing. But housing it's never, like, unless you're building in a place that you know is going to get fucked up, or a place that you know is going to be crime riddled, or something, some natural disaster, something like that. Unless you know that for a fact, then like housing is almost always a good investment. But that's the problem I have right there is the investment part because I really just don't think that housing should be an investment. Housing should not be something for rich people to play around with. While people like the average Joe person like me, you know, we're getting priced out. Everybody is getting priced out. Like it's so funny. I saw some guy that made a reel the other day, and he's like, "Does anybody ever just think about the fact that none of us?" And this guy was probably born in, I'd say, '97 or early 2000s. He was probably around 25 years old, 22, young guy, right? So about a decade younger than me, give or take. And he's like, "Does anybody ever think about how housing is so expensive and it's not going to get cheaper, and we're just never going to be able to afford a we're just never going to be able to afford a house?" And like, does anybody think about that? And I like literally, I'm like, dude, uh, I feel you. I feel you, bro. Because again, I've talked about it on here. I live in a shitty ass trailer. Okay, that's all I could afford at the time because I was working a fucking bullshit job, and I'm still living here, and it's fine. At least at least I technically own something. That's fine. Now, uh, unlike a house, like a home on a established lot and something like that, a trailer is not appreciating. They normally depreciate, ironically. But it was all I could afford at the time, and I didn't want to rent something out. But either way, it's still better than renting an apartment technically because I do kind of own something, even if it's much like owning a vehicle because it is slowly depreciating. But not as fast as a vehicle, but still, you're never gonna get what you put into it. That's for sure. But so I have that going for me. But anybody now, and I'm in the same bandwagon as this guy, like, good fucking luck ever buying a house. Like all my friends that already have houses, you know, I'm I'm slightly envious of them. Like, I mean, I know a lot of them are doing it by the skin of their teeth. And it's certainly not easy. And some of them have renters, some of them have basement dwellers. Some of them have separated their house into halves, and they have like kind of a locked door in between, and then like the basement has their own access, and there's all different kinds of things that you could do to splice up your home, but it's like people shouldn't need to do that. And we've gotten into this point now where housing is getting so expensive because I mean it's always been expensive, but we're getting to that point where people are not going to be able to afford it. And people also said that 18 to $24 an hour right now is like making $7 to $9 in 2005. And that's not even a joke either. Because I remember back in the day when $20 was unheard of. $20 was like, you know, you were like a baller at $20 an hour. However, nowadays it's like you're making $20 an hour, you're on the poverty line, son. Like shit's going crazy. But this takes me back to the what I was saying before is that I just sound like an old person remembering. This takes me back when I'm just actually bringing it around. Some days I'm not good at speaking, guys. I've accepted my faults. Getting better. Maybe. But I digress. I like saying that. That sounds so important when I say that. I digress. Your Honor, I digress. But back to what I was saying. The reason housing is getting so expensive and the reason these people are saying like, I'm never going to be able to afford a home is because they're right. Because people are just using them as investment opportunities. And, I know people, I know a lot of people that have housing and they have rental properties. And, I'm not holding it over their head. I'm not holding it against them. I mean, you had that opportunity and you took it. I mean, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. But again, I'm saying that the system does need to change. And I sincerely think that there should be a cap on the amount of property that people can own because it gets to a point where it gets insane. It gets insane. And the thing is, unless you're born into money, nobody's going to be able to do this. And And like I said at the beginning, with the whole TikTok trend, there's all these people talking about get rich quick schemes, and they're talking about, oh, all you gotta do is buy these rental properties, and then buy these defunct properties and reflip them, and then rent them out. It's like everybody acts like it's like fucking easy to just go out there and do. It's like you need a little bit of startup capital to do that, son. You know what I mean? It just blows my mind how many of these weird gurus online are trying to tell people to buy rental properties and like just start renting them out. And there's so many people that are talking about how they did it when they're 17 and they're a millionaire by the time they're 25. I'm like, well, if you were buying rental properties in your teenager, first of all, you're lying because I don't think you can even buy a house until you're 18. But even if you start when you're 18, you're full of shit. And I know your fucking parents and your trust fund. I know you're a trust fund baby at that point because there's no way unless you're a mega ultra genius. There's no way that you've made enough money before you're 18 to buy a house. Like any house, even a cheap fucking piece of shit house is still $150,000 to $200,000. These are Canadian prices, by the way. I always have to say that because I feel like most podcast viewers and most podcasts in general I feel like are American. So sometimes Americans freak out when I say something because it's like, what the fuck? Why are games $90? It's like, well, that's Canadian. So 60 American or 70 American, whatever it is. So, you got to do the math, people. There are different currencies in the world, not just Bitcoin. There's also Dogecoin and Sia Coin, which is going to be the main currency of the new world. Mark my word. But I don't know. I I do feel for people these days. I really do. And I mean I'm in that boat. But more than me, my kids are going to be in that boat. Like what is housing prices going to be like, in their lifetime? It's going to be fucking unreal. And with this goddamn liberal government we have up here, we need to get these cocksuckers out. Like I'm dead serious, guys. Like I saw this video from like it was Pierre Poliev, and he was like roasting Justin Trudeau, obviously I'm talking about. He was just roasting him in Congress and about all this money that he spent on private private jets and stuff, and him going to these meetings, and he had an $8,000 utility bill at one of his houses to heat his sauna and his hot tub and all this stuff. It's like, just these people are such fucking hypocrites, right? There's all this save the whales, save the bullshit, all this like pollution shit. Like, we gotta use paper fucking straws, which are goddamn useless. And if you look at the top polluters in the world, we're not even in the top fucking five. Oh my god. Okay, this reminds me. Well, first I'll finish my Trudeau story. But I gotta look this up. But but yeah, he was getting roasted there in Congress by Pierre, and then Justin Trudeau had like the fucking audacity to get up, and he's like, I think the majority of Canadians would agree with me that it is important that we protect the environment and we get rid of climate change at all costs. And I think everybody would agree that the climate incentive that we are giving out quarterly has more than made up for any kind of increases in taxes. It's like, you're such a fucking filthy fucking. Oh, I have nothing nice to say about that guy. And I will say it, and I talk about this a lot on this podcast. I really do. I fucking get angry when I think about Justin Trudeau, because it's just fucking it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. The fact that nobody like after the first 4 fucking years, I couldn't believe that people voted him back in. Like, it made me so angry. Hold on a second, let me look this up. Let me see. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's crazy. Can't believe that motherfucker's been in office for 7 years. Yeah, I thought it was 2016. I just wanted to look it up there. But like, you know, it just boils my blood. Especially after like the first 4 years, I would have thought that people understood. I would have thought that people got it. That people would understand that this guy is not good for our country. And he is an insane person. Just the amount of bullshit he's pulled, the amount of like cringe videos, the amount of bullshit inclusivity that doesn't mean anything. This whole carbon tax, it's all fucking bullshit. All of it. And I'm going to tell you guys why right now with this statistic that's going to fucking kill some of you guys. It is literally going to, it's going to make you cringe. So, let me see. Let me find it here. Okay, that's not right. I thought I had it up here before. Oh, we're not even on this. Where does Canada rank? Let's look up that. Where does Canada get its oil? I wonder. Let's look this up for. Do, do, do. So yeah, plastic waste. Yeah, so plastic weight. According to this stupid thing here, it says so. Yeah, Canadians throw away over 3 million tons of plastic waste every year. Only 9% is recycled, while the rest ends up in the landfills, waste to energy facilities, or the environment. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But so 3 million. That's Canada. Okay, that's Canada. Think about Canada. Look a map. Bring a map up right now. Put a map in front of you. Look at Canada. It's pretty fucking big, right? USSR, Russia. You know, sorry, my map's a little old. But Russia, Asia, the whole continent, it's pretty fucking big. You know, shit like that. Now look at Japan. Japan is tiny. Tiny. We just said it. 3 million tons of plastic waste every year. Japan, 8 million tons. 8 million tons. That's almost triple of Canada. Like, but we're the ones that need to have fucking paper straws. Like, good Lord. And like, it's funny because like, and the number one is China, of course. They generate 59 million tons. Like, that's gross. You know what I mean? Like, my point is when I bring this stuff up is that I don't think that countries like Canada, I don't think we should be doing fucking paper straws or any of this little bullshit. Yeah, recycle your plastic, sure. Recycle your bottles, you know? Yeah, do your part for sure. But this fucking paper straw shit ain't helping anybody. All it's adding is bullshit frustration, and it's making the paper straw business more money. Like, because the plastic straws, by us cutting those out, yes, we're helping a little bit, but we aren't even scratching the surface. Not even close. Not even close. One Japanese fishing boat or Chinese fishing boat, one of them will leave more plastic in the ocean than all of Canada. I guarantee it. Fucking one of them than all of Canada for plastic straws. Again, I get it. We're doing our part. We're doing our thing. But you know what? Our simple convenience, it's all right. We can keep some of our simple conveniences because at the end of the day, they're not fucking helping. They aren't. And guess what? There's still third-party companies that make plastic straws, asshole. And people are still gonna fucking use them. So, you're really not helping anybody. You're just frustrating people. Again, first world problem. Really fucking stupid. But, what can I tell you? It's not putting a dent in anything. And all this carbon emissions. Like, we live in, like, the best country for that stuff. And it's always been that way. This isn't because of Justin Trudeau. This isn't because his climate action incentive. It's doing fucking nothing. All it's doing is making it harder to produce like fuel in our own country. That's all it's doing. It's just making it more expensive and making everything more expensive for Canadians. So, you know, there's that. But I don't know. Either way, I hope everybody fucking wakes up this time and everybody gets to the polls and votes. I mean, I don't really have to worry about me. Like we're in Alberta, so we're good. We got it. We got the vote here. Alberta, Saskatchewan, good to go. No problem. We we had overwhelming turnout and an overwhelming victory. But it's that East Coast, what you call in America the swing states. We call them the asshole provinces up here. It's like Quebecois and all that bullshit. So, but Quebec always wants to vote in the party Quebec, the Bloc Quebecois, and that never fucking works. So, need to get those assholes, those French bastards, to start voting for conservative. Just kidding. I love the French. I'm part French, so I can say that. Bonjour. Can I just do a cooling beverage? But yeah, so that's my end of my rant right now. So yeah, basically, sorry guys, we're never gonna afford houses, and liberal government's not helping. So yeah, let's kick those fuckers out. As far as what I want to talk about today, as I'm 30 minutes in, I want to talk about briefly. I might make a video on it on the channel. I haven't decided yet. But I did want to talk about the Diablo 4 beta. So I played it, and my buddy Sword Kira Justin, he played it as well. And he was a lot rougher on it than I was, to be honest. But he's a huge Diablo 2 fan. I mean I am, but I'm not as into Diablo 2 as he is. Like he's deep. He knows like everything about it. I know quite a bit, but I don't know as much as he does. So, but I love the randomness. I love the use of items and all that stuff, but I'm getting off track. Diablo 4, how do I put it this way? It it looks nice. It plays nice. I did play it on the harder skill. On the beta, you could choose to you go all the way up to level 25, and you could choose to play on normal or I think veteran they called it, or level 2 or something, but it's like harder. So because I'm a Diablo veteran, and I found like Diablo 3 was way too fucking easy. Like every time after my initial playthrough, every time I would start a new character on that, I automatically started on like whatever the hardest difficulty available to me, whether it was challenging. I think it's the one right under hell, because you have to unlock hell by beating the other ones. But I would always start on that one because it was just like Diablo 3 is way too easy. So, and I rolled a rogue, and again, the game looks great, looks nice, everything's really cool. They added some scalable areas in the map, like by scale. I'm not talking about level scaling. We'll get to that. Don't worry. But I mean, like, there's areas where you can like climb up ladders or climb down ladders or go up slopes, or you know, little traversable objects, we'll say. So that's kind of cool. The enemies look nice. The animations look nice. A lot of the classic enemies are back. Um, it's definitely more challenging. Again, I was playing on the harder difficulty, but it's definitely more challenging than Diablo 3. It's still not as challenging as Diablo 2. Like it's not that hard, because Diablo 2 is much harder than like Diablo 3 is such a cakewalk. I can't even get over how easy that game was. But yeah, so it was definitely it's still not that hard, but it was, it's just the beginning of the game. But whatever. It is what it is. But everything looked nice. The major problem I just want to talk about is the level scaling, which I mentioned earlier. The so this game what separates it from the other ones is that it's an MMO, which is massively multiplayer online. So it's going to be like Diablo Immortal in a way. So it's always online. So what they did was that no matter where you are on the map, the enemies scale to your level. So, and I imagine there's areas in the full, because we only got to go to one area technically. So I imagine in the full game, there'll be areas where there's higher level monsters. And, say it's a level 50, there'll be a level 50 area. But then if you're level 54, they'll be 54. So they'll always be higher than you or the same level. But as far as just the area we were in, enemies would always scale with you. This is a fucking trend in games that I just, it's so garbage. I fucking hate it. Because the point is you're supposed to be getting more powerful. That's what you're supposed to do in these games, in RPGs in general, and gaming in general, but especially in RPGs, because you these guys, and it should be challenging. They give you a hard time, you get pissed off, and you're like, "Arr, I'm gonna come back and beat the fuck out of you," and you get a hard time, you're getting fucked over all the time, but then you're level 80 something rather, and you go back to that area on hell mode, and you're like, hey, these fuckers that gave me problems, eat my hammer, bitch. And you just bitch slap every enemy in that area. And it's really easy. So that's progression. That's what progression feels like in games. You should be feeling like you're getting more powerful. Now, obviously, there should always be something to challenge you. And that's where end game content comes in, which is another thing I'm worried about this game. I'm wondering how the end game content is going to be. And, but as far as the game goes itself, there I don't like the level scaling in areas because it means that the enemies will always be on your level. They'll always be as tough or tougher than you. And it doesn't give you that sense of accomplishment. It just doesn't. It doesn't give you that sense of power walking through an old area because everything scales up to you. And I don't know what else to say about that. I don't like that. I like it was the same shit with Oblivion and fucking Morrowind. Oblivion and Skyrim rather. Morrowind did it perfect. They had leveled areas, whereas Oblivion again it wasn't as crazy as. Actually, I take that back. Actually, Oblivion probably had the worst level scaling because it got to the point where there's like bandits and Daedric armor, which is absolutely laughable. But either way, it was yeah. Oblivion and Skyrim both did the leveled alien or leveled enemies. Jesus Christ, and yeah, it just got to a point where everything was fucking so tough and they were so meaty and so you know just HP sponges, and it was just bullshit. So again, I like a challenge. It's nice, but like there should be a point in a game where you kind of reach that god status and you can kind of go to bandit camps and fucking just sleep them all. You know? You get you sleeping up. Police be tripping up. Shit like that. But either way, yeah. So I didn't like the scaling. Now, like things again, I'm kind of briefly go over my thoughts on the game so far. I'm still probably going to play a little bit more this weekend because they're doing another beta this weekend and they're unlocking the Necromancer and the Druid. So I really want to try. I don't know. I really want to try the Druid, but I also really want to try Necro. So I might try both briefly because I'm interested in both of those. I really wanted to play a Rogue though too. So I don't know. I want to try everybody. Goddammit. But I always really liked the Druid. That Druid was always like one of my guys. And, the Crusader was my guy too. Well, the Paladin, which they made the Crusader in Diablo 3 as a DLC, I believe. And then this fucking game, they don't even have the Paladin, which is just fucking stupid. And I'll bet you it'll be in a DLC, and I'll be like, Oh yeah, you released the same fucking DLC character two games in a row, you lazy fucks. God, that pissed me off. But, anyways, real quick before we wrap up here, the things that I did like, I did like the world bosses. So, and again, I might make a video on the channel. I might not. I haven't decided yet. Depends on how much time I have and how burnt out I am from work. But I did record some footage of me fighting the world boss. So there's these world bosses that appear, and I don't know how the timers are linked, or if I just got lucky, or if they only appear on weekends. Like I don't know how it's going to be in the full game, but the way it works, um, based on the reward I got and stuff, is that you get a weekly reward for. I don't know if it's just this world boss, or if there's going to be a world boss in every area, or if there's just going to be one world boss somewhere every week or something. But I was able to claim a weekly chest from that boss, and it gave me a bunch of really good loot. It gave me like 4 epics, and I was like, wow, that's fucking kick ass. But it always makes me worried that it was a little bit too much. But I will say the world boss was quite challenging. I Again, if I do the video, you'll see I was a little bit under leveled to be fighting him, but I thought it was going to be my only chance to actually fight him. So I was like, I really want to record this and fight this guy. So I'll just help. I won't do much, but I'll try to help people. But yeah, it's a really cool boss fight. The boss is really strong, and yeah, it was just fun. It felt like an old school World of Warcraft world boss where you just kind of get a bunch of random guys walking by, and everybody's kind of helping kill the guy, and then you get sweet loot at the end. But uh, yeah, other than that, the dungeons weren't too bad. I didn't mind the dungeon layout; they look nice. But I will say the dungeons, as far because there's actual things that are marked as dungeons, and they're like mini. I call them mini dungeons because they're not very long, but they're considered dungeons. And usually, I will say they're a little cookie cutter, and people like to use that with Diablo 3 and Diablo General. But I will say for these ones, they really were. I didn't do all the dungeons, I'll admit, but the ones that I did do, it's always like you get to a locked door, and then you go right, and you clear a path, and you find one key or one half of the key or one object for part of the door, and then you go the other way, the opposite, the left way if you went right, and then you fight through some mobs and you get to the end of the hallway, and then you find another key or another object or another piece of the key, right? Then you go back to the locked door, and then you place them down both, or you forge them, you open it, and then you fight a boss. So I found it was a little the dungeons, like they're a little cookie cutter, but I mean, people people would be lying if they said that they weren't all. Sorry, fucking hell. Sorry about that, guys. Getting a random work call, but I'm off the clock. Sorry, bitch. Just kidding. Calm down. But yeah, sorry about that. Uh, Now they've lost my train of thought. There we go. It's turned off. Okay, but yeah, they were a little cookie cutter, the dungeons, but all in all, I I might get hate for this, but a lot of the dungeons in fucking Diablo are cookie cutter. I mean, let's be honest. And like a lot of people, there's a lot of people that defend, they will defend D2, and I love D2. Don't get me wrong. I do love D2, but and the RG dungeons were cool, but like you got to be honest with yourself when you say that it was almost a fucking necessity to have teleport. Like there's that, I think it was a rune word you can use for teleport. And I'm sure if Justin listens to this, I'm sure he'll correct me in the comments. But there's a rune word or something where you could get teleport. I can't remember right now. what the rune word is called. But anybody that wasn't a sorcerer that didn't have it by default needed it, because they would do that. They would run through the dungeon to find the progression to go kill the boss. That's what they did for runs, for bail runs and shit like that. That's why it was always beneficial to either have that rune word or to have a sorcerer. But so a lot of people, it's like, the RG's cool, I like it for the dungeons, but also it's like you're going through the same fucking cookie cutter ones, but with just a random exit that instead of fighting to find the exit, you're just gonna fucking teleport to anyway. So I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. But other than that, the itemization, and this is one thing that Justin is definitely pissed off about, and I tend to agree with him, is that the itemization is much like Diablo 3, where it's just like it's just like you have your magic items pretty much, and then you'll have your epics, your legendaries, you know? Like you'll have your legendaries, and that's pretty much it. And you'll get legendaries early on. You really will. And other than that, all the gray items are fucking useless. There's no ethereals as far as I've seen so far. Maybe in the full game, I doubt it. But, and he'll talk, he could talk your ear off. I want him to come on here and talk about Diablo sometime. But, he could talk your ear off about, like, how white armor, and by white I mean it's a quality thing, right? Like there's white, which is just ordinary items, and then there's green, which is a set item, and then there's legendary is orange, and then magic is yellow, and Diablo 2 I think the colors were the same. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But the point is, there's different tiers of items, but every tier of item in the original Diablo 2 had a use, and sometimes you would want, like, you would be looking for, like, I don't know, like a superior arcade plate or something, so it's a white armor, but it's got really good defense, and it's got, I think it's 5 slots. So, and then with the 5 slots, you can make your rune word. So you turn this useless piece of armor, which is a white piece of armor, and now it's a rune word armor, and it's actually useful. So every item in the game technically had a use, whereas in, you know, in the new Diablos, like Diablo 3 and Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, any item that's white is just trash. It's like a trash mob. Well, it's trash loot. You just sell it or break it down for materials. That's all it's meant for. You will never look at a white item and be like, oh, I might be able to socket this or rune word it. So yeah, I don't know. It's, again, it is what it is, and that's just kind of how games progress. And it sucks. It sucks. I don't like it either, but unfortunately, we kind of knew this is happening because that's the way games are going. Games are going towards that. You know, they're going towards that whole thing of big things being streamlined, dungeons, gameplay, all that stuff, and it really does suck. And me and him are ultra me and Justin are ultra worried about the next Elder Scrolls game, because that's gonna be, you know, that's gonna be Bethesda's last chance. That's gonna be like, watch the fuck out, because if their next Elder Scrolls game is just this bullshit, dumbed down, you know, something that looks like Elder Scrolls Online bullshit, then that's it. They're gonna be done. They're gonna be done. For me anyway. I'm sure there's still millions of people that play their bullshit. But like, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'll stick to fucking Morrowind, and I'll stick to, Oblivion. Still have a soft spot for Oblivion. I love Oblivion. And I even like Skyrim, but just it was too simple. Like, it was just the skill system, everything else. It was just like, you want to talk about cookie cutter. Fucking skill trees in Skyrim, son. It's the most cookie cutter as it gets. A gingerbread with his left leg missing. Anyways, I'm just a fucking old boomer gamer complaining about his woes. Kids on the internet. Anyways, like I said, I might make that D4 video. I might just make a world boss video. Who knows? Keep an eye out on the channel, because you never know. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on all social media. Links are in the description below. I'll see you next week. Bye.